Like all good visual effects shots, you always have to start with a great design. This is Alex Laurent's design for the Plaza of Thebes, which was later turned into an 8th scale miniature. The level of detail has to be quite high in order to take something that is as small as an 8th scale miniature and make it look as big as a giant plaza in Thebes. This includes taking that level of detail down to some of the elements that you might even think are ancillary or unimportant. This is the Ram Sphinx Plaza, and all the detailing in here you can see in these drawings is actually brought to life in the miniature as it was realized at ILM. We put people on the scaffolding to give more detail here, and that's all done with digital compositing, but first the design has to incorporate those things. You can also see areas of detail on the side here where things are left unfinished, always something to draw your eye. Even though you don't see that necessarily, it gives you a level of detail which makes you believe the true scale. This is the Animatic, which was our first pass at how we would make the opening of the film work. And we show off the architecture of Thebes and the pyramids in the background, the size of the city. We always have to end up with a chariot, and this is where the pharaoh comes riding down through the street. This is all a digital simulation done on a computer graphics platform, just to give us a feel of what the entire shot will look like when it's finished. Here's another version of that as we continue to try to progress and figure out more levels of detail, how it will look when we have more detail into the temple. And you can see how we're looking for ways to create more space to find ways of seeing more of the city, but always with the intent that we'll come down and see the pharaoh at the end. We're also checking into how we're going to get this wall to match into the entire miniature. This is the original photography in Morocco. The city wall of Marrakesh off to the right, and the pharaoh riding his 4 horses and his chariot down the sandy dune that we built there on the day. This is a completely wild camera move. The crane is being operated manually, and we have to match that later in the computer to make sure that everything locks down perfectly. This is yet another version of our digital simulation of the opening. We've added in a little bit different Sphinx, and the temple's changed a little bit. But the main reason we're doing this here is to figure out how to lock the wall down to the miniature, so that our virtual world and our real world is matching up. The green checkerboard you see on the right is superimposed in order to give us a sense of exactly how close we are in terms of our digital simulation and our real live photography. The block you see there is used by the animators to understand where the pharaoh will be in the scene. In order to populate the plaza, we use real actors, and we put them in front of a green screen in this case and composite them in digitally so that we have people running through the miniature, which gives it scale and makes it look like a real place and not a model. The final design was based on the original 1932 logo, and we tried to bring graphical elements together to give the sun, the pyramids, things that really show off what this movie's all about. This is what we sent down to Stephen Sommers for his approval as a design for the opening shot, again with the digitally simulated plaza. This incorporating the final design, and we have a look at how many people will be in there. We've put little figures in there. And now we have a sense of what the entire shot will look like in this digital simulation. And of course, it's married into the final photography from Morocco as well, so that we now have a sense of what the whole shot will look like. And we always end up with the right thing at the end, which is, of course, the pharaoh.